Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5 about assessing speaking. The next slide. Name of group, I am Elmira Ivana, Tria Putri Antika, Restu Ananda, dan M. Ali Raffi. Basic types of speaking. For the first one is imitative. Performance is the ability to imitate words, phrase, or sentence, focusing on phonetic, prosodic, lexical, and grammatical purpose of language. It doesn't infer meaning or interactive conversation about it. Listening plays a short-term, strong role, allowing responders to respond to given prompts. And the intensive, short oral language tests demonstrate competence in grammatical, paralexical, or phonological relationship. These tests require minimal interaction with an interlocutor or test administrator. Intensive assessment tests include direct response reading, aloud sentence, completion limit, picture, text, and translation. And the responsive assessment text involve interaction and test completion in short conversation, standard grading, and simple requests with a spoken prompt to maintain authentic and follow-up questions or restarts. Examine the following conversation, like Jeff, "Hi Steve, how it's going?" Steve, "No bad, and yourself?" Jeff, I'm good." Steve, "Cool, okay, kodaku." Interactive. The difference between responsive and interactive speaking is in the like and complexity of the interaction, which sometimes include multiple exchange and multiple participants. Interaction can be broken down into two types, and the first one, transactional language, which has the purpose of exchange spatial information, and the two is interpersonal exchange, which has the purpose of maintaining social relationship. In the tail above, A and B are transactional and C is interpersonal. In interpersonal exchange, oral product can become pragmatically complex with the need to speak in a casual register and use colloquial. And the last is monologue or extensive. Oral product tests like speech, presentation, and storytelling. Oral interaction language style is deliberate and formal, but informal monologue like casually delivered speech can still be used. Okay, for the next is maybe Muhammad Ali Raffi.
Okay, so next is micro skill. Micro skill in speaking refers to the small, specific language ability that contribute to effective communication. This can include pronunciation, intonation, stress patterns, vocabulary, voice, and grammar accuracy. Developing those micro skills is essential for clear and understandable communication in the particular language. Next slide, please. And then my micro skill. Micro skill, on the other hand, encompass broader language abilities in the context of speaking. Micro skill refer to the overall proficiency in using a language to communicate in various situations. This includes the ability to engage in conversation, express ideas coherently, use appropriate language in the different contexts, and understand the means of communication. And next, maybe Restu or Rihanna.
Okay. So the next is a landasan teori. It include a topic nomination, maintenance, and termination, attention getting, interrupting, floor holding control, clarifying, questioning or paraphrasing, and then comprehension signals, intonation patterns for pragmatic effectiveness, eye contact, and then politeness, formality, and other sociolinguistic factors. The next one is a designing assessment text for imitative speaking. The inclusion of simple phonological imitation in a consideration of assessment of oral production. After all, Enel's repetition of word phrase and sentences was the province of the long discard audiolingual method. In an era of communicative language teaching, many believe that non-meaningful imitation of sound is fruitless. An occasional phonologically focused repetition tags in words as long as repetition tags are not allowed to occupy a dominant role in the overall oral production assessment, and as long as you are fully avoid negative feedback. And here are some methods. The first one is a version. Version is an oral production test within the commercial market that relies heavily on imitation tasks. Repetition on sentences occupies a prominent role within the speaking tasks on the test. Development of the version test could signal and increase the future of repetition and read aloud producers for the assessment of oral production. And the second is a scoring scale for repetition text. The longer the stretch of language, the more possibility for error, and therefore the more difficult it becomes to assign a point system to the okay. And the last one is a word and sentence repetition text. A variation on such a text from test takers with a brief written stimulus, which they are to read aloud. Scoring specification must be clear to avoid reliability breakdowns. A common form of scoring simply indicates 2 or 3 point system to each response. And the next slide will be explained by Restu.
Okay, the next is designing assessment tasks, intensive speaking. At the intensive level, test takers are prompted to produce short stretches of discourse, or no more than a sentence, through which they demonstrate linguistic ability at a specified level of language. Intensive tasks may also be described as limited response tasks. Next, and the next is directed response task. In this type of limited response task, the task administrator should particular grammatical transformation of the sentence, such as clearly mechanical and not communicative. They do require numerical phrasing of meaning and also to produce grammatical objects. Then read aloud. Read aloud task. The set is easily administered by selecting a passage that incorporates test facts and by recording the test takers output. Coding is relatively easy because all of the test cases or production is controlled. Okay, benar. Next is intent or dialogue, completion tasks and oral questionnaires. Another technique to target intensive aspect of language requires test takers to read dialogue in which one speakers' lines are limited. Test takers are first time to read through the dialogue to get its skills and to think about appropriate lines to fill in. Picture cue. Picture cue tasks are one of the more popular ways to illustrate our language performance at both intensive and extensive level is the picture cue. Stimulus that requires a description from the perspective pictures may be very I guess
Okay, that's it for us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.